Welcome to our cooking class, Cooking for Cancer. Today we're doing a walnut crusted salmon with a basil walnut pesto.
Awesome.
So with this recipe, you are going to need a food processor. Our functions for the food processor are chop and grind setting. Some of them don't have particular settings, if it's just like a food processor and it kind of does it all. But ours is specific to chopping and grinding. So for the walnut specifically, you need the chop setting. So it actually has like a different attachment and a different blade. So to get started, you're first going to make the walnut crust using the food processor. We have our salmon fillets already in a baking sheet with parchment paper. We have our oven set to 475, but if you're making this at home, all you need is at 350. So we're gonna start just letting this sit here. Danielle, you can actually drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to start with the food processor. So you're going to get half pieces or chopped pieces of walnuts. You're going to use 1 cup, and this is now for the crust. The basil pesto we're going to do once the salmon's actually baking. All right, so it's 1 cup of walnuts. You just put that all in there. Then we're going to do a tablespoon of dried parsley.
Dried parsley.
Yes,
I'm shocked.
I know. You know how I feel about my fresh.
I'm very particular about her fresh herbs.
But this is what the recipe calls for, so I'm just not, you know.
So Ange, this is all about omega-3s today, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep, so healthy fats, and salmon is rich in omega-3s, walnuts are rich in omega-3s. So this is like a double whammy.
Nice.
Okay, so we have our dried parsley. Look, and I got it all over the place. Salt, pepper. And of course, you know, I don't measure my salt and pepper. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing.
I'll trade you.
Thank you. Okay.
This is a great dish. We've practiced this dish last month, and it is lovely, and you actually feel like you ate something, and it tastes really good. So it doesn't feel, even if you're not a baked fish person, the walnut crust really helps that. Maybe.
And again, like you can't use this food processor unless you have it in the right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a reason.
Yeah. Right. You want to get it to a really nice thin consistency so that you can layer it right onto the salmon. And you'll notice once this is done cooking, it's going to have this really nice crispy crust, and the inside of the salmon is going to be like flaky, moist.
Okay.
If you don't like that word, sorry.
I know.
I know people don't like that word.
I know. It's lovely though. I mean, it's a really, it's almost like a chicken parmesan dish with that crust.
Salmon walnut crusted.
Something like that.
Sadie said that my shirt was crispy white today.
Oh.
And I really like the word crispy.
I like the word
in
crispy.
that aspect.
It sounds
It's
like
a
very clean.
Exactly, you know?
Can I do this? Or how are you gonna do it? Are you just gonna pat it?
I was going to pat it.
All right, I'm with you.
Because, you know, so here's the consistency. Edie, I want you to see it close up. Okay. Irene. Okay. So you're gonna layer that right on. And if you had a brush, you could brush on the olive oil to make it more of a thin layer for the salmon. But I'm just gonna sprinkle this on and then press it in. And the last time I made this, I was even getting the sides of it like everywhere.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I feel like you did a lot. I feel like it was completely covered.
So you do want to get like all aspects of the.
I got you on the other side.
Thank you.
That's like the nice thing about walnuts too. I feel like they make a really good breading. It's easy. It does, you know, sometimes with like breadcrumbs, you're like, oh my gosh, literally, these aren't sticking.
Yes.
Bold, girl.
Oh, I'm not even paying attention to you. I'm like worried about my own fillet over here.
I'm not sure if the cooking class is good on a Friday at 2.
I know, we're like, we
Really
need more
like,
coffee. We
I
just want to like hit the pool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, today. Nice day.
All right.
I'm still going.
Okay.
Because I agree with you. That's those sides are important. You didn't get all your sides.
Oh.
Are you not getting your sides? I'll get them.
Yeah. Now she's judging my walnut layering.
Just practicing what you preach right now. All right.
Okay,
All right, you know.
oh, it looks good.
All right.
All right, so you got a nice thick layer of that walnut crust on there. Now, our oven is, like I said, set to 475. We're gonna put these in for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
At home, 350, about 20.
Okay.
So that's where the comparison comes.
Do you need a minute? No. Sure. So this space is called the Teaching Kitchen, and so we're located on the 3rd floor of Hillman Cancer Center. So obviously we wanted to go for a look that looked very similar to your kitchen at home, but we've had to get some appliances that are more restaurant-like, right?
Compliant for like health
Yes.
coding departments.
So, but this oven is like a beast. So it cooks so fast. It's lovely. We all like want this in our home.
Yeah.
You can make chicken nuggets and fries in 2 minutes.
What did we make? And we were like, oh, like a
Was that-
flatbread pizza.
That non-bread.
It was like
we had
2 minutes.
Yes, it was 1 minute 45 seconds actually.
She always corrects me. It's like, yes, okay, 15 seconds off. Okay. So for the pesto, again, you're gonna be using walnuts. 2/3 of a cup. Remember last time I did this too, and you're like, there's not enough walnuts.
I know.
I did the wrong measuring. See, I have to have my assistant on hand. She's like,
I got
you know,
promoted.
yeah.
I was just the dishwasher, which I love to wash dishes when there's not a chopper.
And the chopper, you
I'm a good chopper.
Yeah.
You know, I worked at a restaurant, so.
All right, so this is going to be a cup of basil. I'm not gonna measure this as either, but it is 1 cup. And I'm gonna take it off the stem and just throw the leaves in there. I told you last time, my fresh basil plant is dead and it's still dead. It never came back, so, you know.
But it's important to use fresh. So Ange has really talked a lot to me about fresh herbs because sometimes it's a bit inconvenient. And sometimes places don't always have all the herbs you want, and it can get really pricey. We got all of our ingredients today at Whole Foods, and I know that can feel very intimidating, but to be honest, the salmon that we got is frozen salmon. It comes with 8 fillets. It's $19 a package. That's really manageable, and they are lovely cuts of fillet. I think the bag of walnuts here was about $5. And then this is a really big box of bay leaf, or not bay, but basil. I think this was $5. So it's not, but we had a couple other recipes that we needed to use it for this week. So again, you're looking at a meal for probably about way less than $15. I mean, way less than $20. So.
And those salmon fillets too, they're very thin. They're not as thick as, you know, I feel like it's about 4 ounces, which is considered a protein serving.
Yeah.
Okay, so next ingredient for the pesto is going to be a lemon juice, but the last time we made it, it was pretty lemony,
Okay.
and it calls for a 1/4 cup, so I'm gonna do just a little bit less than a 1/4 cup.
You can always add, not take away from it, so. Okay.
So our lemon juice, olive oil is the next ingredient, which is also a 1/4 cup. Now, if you ever made regular pesto, it calls for pine nuts. And pine nuts are extra expensive. But you can make pesto literally using any nut you want. You can do an almond,
They're
walnut,
kind of hard to find too.
cashew.
Yeah, like I can't find them at Aldi. You can find them at Trader Joe's pretty
Really?
decently priced, but you have to use a significant amount. So walnuts are definitely.
Yeah, they're smaller, it
Yeah.
takes a lot, but man, do I love
pine nuts.
a regular pesto.
Yeah.
But I was telling Danielle too, like, if you really didn't want to make your own pesto, Aldi pesto in the jar is
$2.49.
legit.
Yeah, I looked it up. I wanted to see which one because we were talking about.
I've tried multiple different jar pestos, and for some reason, Aldi's is just like top.
I
Top
trust you.
dog.
I trust you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now Danielle will send me pictures on the weekend, like, I'm learning something. Here's my dish. Look at this meal.
She's like, please stop texting me. on
No, I
weekends."
like it. I'm like, yay. Okay. And make sure everything is.
For some reason, I thought that there was kale in the pesto. You can make it. I like maybe, am I making that up? Or is this-
Oh, you mean this particular
Yeah,
recipe?
I don't know why.
Yeah, no. And I like my pesto like pretty thin,
Yeah.
like everything blended very well.
I think pesto people get nervous about because it is pretty high in fat, but it's a good fat.
Healthy fat all the way. It sure is. And what the difference is between like omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3s. Omega-6s are found in a lot of your like safflower oils, corn oil, so found in a lot of processed foods. Omega-3s are going to be found in your avocado, salmon, tuna, walnuts, and we don't get a balance of omega-3s to omega-6s. We get more omega-6s in this westernized diet culture here. So in order to, have a really healthful diet, you want to increase your intake of omega-3s. And that's why I think a lot of people end up supplementing with omega-3 fatty acids or a fish oil, because either they don't like fish, they know that this just isn't really a staple into their diet. And I'm like pointing, talking, I can't do everything at once. And it's just, you want more of it, to be honest. It's what's found in salmon is DHA, which is a type of omega-3 fatty acid that is so beneficial for brain health. So just other things that are going to be beneficial, not only just for overall health, but brain, which is very important.
And so, this is obviously a class about cooking for cancer. Can you talk about a little bit more with omega-3 and cancer?
Yeah. So again, you want that balance. The omega-6s are not going to be as beneficial for your health, not rich in anti-inflammatory properties, which can increase the oxidative stress in the body, which then could increase inflammation, which can lead to tumor growth, cancer, and other diseases. So you want an anti-inflammatory rich diet. Those omega-3s are going to provide a ton of that, which is going to lessen the oxidative stress in the body. So just a side note though, diet is just one step of that puzzle, like one piece of that puzzle. Stress in itself can increase oxidative stress in the body or inflammation. Anxiety can do so, but then you have to keep in mind like genetics, environment, those are things you can't control. But diet and activity are two things you can't control. And stress is another thing where it's not going to go away, but it's something that you can learn how to handle, right? A little bit better.
And a little bit more about our program. We're called the Wellness and Integrative Oncology Program. We consider the whole person. So Dr. Francis is an oncologist, hematologist. And so she meets with patients one-on-one to discuss the symptoms that you're having, because, most of our patients are looking for something that is not a pharmaceutical. So it's not, they don't want more side effects. They want,
Less medication.
They want that, better food plan. They want a little bit more of an exercise plan, how to handle stress. Is that through meditation? Is that through a cooking class? Things like that. So, our four modalities are movement, touch, nutrition, and mindfulness. So like Ange said, it's not just about nutrition, it's about the whole person.
Exactly.
And Ange, we got 43 seconds on the clock. Very exciting. Okay, go. We've learned a lot about technology, haven't we all, over the past year? But we have learned more.
Danielle takes the reins. I'm like, no, I don't want to touch it.
Okay, team. So we're coming up on 20 seconds again. Wait till you see this salmon. It's pretty amazing. I'm very jealous of this oven because it takes, I feel like, forever at home. Yeah.
Keep in mind too how 15, 20 minutes, it's been 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
It's 2:18. And we used, again, a food processor, actually made our own basil. I feel like people were intimidated. They're like, I just want to, what'd I say?
Basil. We did not make our own basil. Ange killed that for everybody that
Made our own pesto.
and look at that. Ooh.
I feel like,
Ange and I are both Italian, so we'll be like, wow, maybe we should take a trip to Italy as like
Don't
a
play.
flag.
You know, I'll be on the next flight.
COVID or not, here we
Mhm.
go. All right, guys. So take a look at this. I'm gonna grab another mitt just so you can see. And this thing is obviously very hot because we're cooking pretty hot. So I'm gonna show it to our virtual audience over here. So you can see. I promise it's not burnt. It just kind of looks like that on the sides, but the inside is perfect. I'm gonna do our in-studio audience over here. See that crust? Yeah.
And that's a good reason why you want to use parchment paper, because that's gonna like destroy your pan.
Yes.
And the olive oil and what we kind of pressed on the side of the salmon is what got burnt. But you can tell like the crust of the actual salmon fillet is that perfect consistency where it's going to be like crispy on top, but very flaky and tender on the inside. So I did end up putting the pesto in the fridge. You do want to chill it for a little bit before you actually add it to the fillets. So I don't know, Danielle, if you want to like put these in half.
Yeah, let's do it now. Repeating some stuff today.
And for salmon, you want the internal temperature to be about 145 degrees. So less than what you would need for poultry or ground beef. But some people even like there's a little bit more on the raw side.
Yeah.
But then again, we are cooking for a population of, you know, it's food safety. So for an immune compromised population, you want everything to be at the right temperature. You want to definitely incorporate food safety into your cooking, all your practice. So if you don't like it raw, you actually really shouldn't do it raw. If you are at risk for infection or any sort of like foodborne illness. I don't know if you want them. Should I put it in front of these?
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, you'd like it like that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I like sushi, like real sushi, not like California roll sushi. So you can make it raw or whatever. There you go. Okay. All right.
All right.
So there's that. Do you want me to get the pesto out? You were getting it.
Sorry. Okay, so we literally just made the salmon and the pesto, but if you were making this for dinner or you know, a party or something, you definitely want to have a side dish, whether that be some sort of grain, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. You can have a little bit of brown rice or quinoa on the side to make it a complete balanced meal. You can put it on a bed of arugula and make it into like more of a salmon salad with that pesto. It would be delicious. So what you want to do is just kind of add a dollop on top of that baby.
You're gonna show it?
Yeah.
What's nice about this too, one thing we did when we cooked this, man, my words today, sorry. When we cooked this in house before with staff, we literally just took arugula because there's just so much flavor with arugula. And then we got a microwave rice, microwavable rice.
I'll grab a bag of
literally
it. Yep.
90 seconds. Ange can show you what that looks like here. It's just easy to complete a meal. You can get a lot of things out. You can get quinoa, you can get
7-grain
lentils.
lentil blend.
Yeah, so we got this, these are at all, I mean, these are everywhere. You can get them Aldi, Target, obviously Giant Eagle. So it's just really easy to kind of make your own bowl. And that's kind of what we all did. Just grabbed a scoop of arugula, a scoop of rice, had a piece of salmon, pesto, and mixed it all up.
Yeah. And you did feel full from this. Remember, you
Oh,
were like,
yeah.
this is a meal that I feel like is balanced yet filling. You don't feel hungry afterwards. It's just like an overall good meal.
I mean, I am liking salmon more and more to the point that I like it more than chicken and would rather have it than chicken.
For
So,
sure.
I mean, it's just nice to see creative ways to cook salmon because you just think it's always like, well, olive oil, salt and pepper, your
Mhm,
garlic. So this has been a nice way
Yeah.
to treat it. So we are going to actually stop our recording now and then talk to our people that are online and in person if they have any questions. But thank you so much for joining us. Again, we are here Fridays from 2 to 3. We're actually not here on July 2nd. We're off for the holiday, but we will see you back here the following July, following Friday in July.
I really don't even know the
Which I
date,
can't even
so-
remember. I think it would be the 9th. So
Yeah.
thanks so much for joining us.
And Edie, you might actually have to ask your questions in the chat.
Can you hear me?
I'm not sure if we'll be able to hear.